UCF nights? Oh my god. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to the tea, and well, welcome back to another UCF themed video because it's been a hot minute since we've traveled down that rabbit hole. So let's have a little discussion, shall we? As all of my subscribers know, my channel is kind of a hodgepodge, hot messery of a lot of different things, and I've noticed recently that my subscriber count has just been going up for some very weird reason. Even though I haven't put a video out in a hot minute, and I was like, well, what is going on? And then, to my horror, saw that the 5 things to know about UCF video has had a resurgence. It's at 10K, and I was just like,
oh no.
Now granted, I understand why, because with Granted, I understand why, because with all orientations gone virtual, it's kind of hard to get a grasp of what the university is before getting there if you don't actually get to go there, you know? And we can thank a certain Miss Rona for that one, so the solution is to kind of comb the internet to find whatever information you can get from just about anybody, including a 1.5-year-old video that is cringy beyond all measure because it was the beginning of my YouTube channel and I had no idea what I wanted to be as a YouTuber. Don't believe me? Well, let's recap why I'm currently attempting to redo whatever that video was, shall we? Your boy has shaved his face, finally. I might like people, but also, being the introvert that I am, I don't have, no. Free stuff.
Free stuff.
So as you can see, this video is long overdue, and the good news is I have a lot of great new information for you. Another 5 more things you need to know about UCF. We'll be covering some of the more common questions that I get via YouTube or Instagram, because people tend to ask a lot of the same things when it comes to UCF, so I figured who better than to address it than this hot messery. Also, you may notice that I've got my UCF Pride, like, flag thing going on back here, and it looks kind of ghetto, but honestly, it's okay. It's what we're working with. This entire channel has been a budget production since day one, and y'all been knew that. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get into 5 more things you should probably know about UCF. Alright, so let's get started in no particular order. We're just gonna go through some things that I think it's probably important that anyone trying to come to UCF should probably know before getting here. Number 1, the campus layout. So I created a half-an-hour video called UCF Declassified Freshman Year Survival Guide, and for those of you who are really trying to get in-depth information, I would go check that video out. I put the little thingy up here in the bar. But basically, I covered a little bit of kind of how the campus is set up, but let me give you the SparkNotes version. So UCF is split into 3 campuses now because we just had our downtown campus open in downtown Orlando. I've never been there. Cannot give you any personal information about that, but I hear it's very nice. However, I have been to the other 2 campuses, Rosen and Main campus. So a quick overview of Rosen, because I'm not a Rosen student. But for those of you who don't know about Rosen, Rosen is designed for the hospitality and entertainment management majors at UCF. It's about 40-45 minutes away from Main campus, and it's closer to things like Universal and Disney, which we will be talking about in this video. It's a much smaller campus than Main campus, much more manageable. Like, one section of like the residence halls, you have like the main section that has like the fountain, there's a theater there, the bookstore, the library, and then you have the classrooms contained within that building, so it's much easier to navigate. However, let's get into the real deal that a lot of people seem to have a lot of anxiety about, and that's navigating Main campus. So that's where I've been living at for the past 2 years, is Main campus. It's what you see in all the promos. It really speaks to the whole "this is big" movement that UCF had not that long ago. This is big. But the good news is it's big, but it's a big circle, literally. Campus is really set out as a giant circle with the student union sitting in the middle and all the other classroom buildings kind of like roaming around it. I'll leave a map somewhere up here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Not a perfect circle by any means, but you get the gist. So a question that I get asked a lot in terms of the campus layout is, like, do you get lost easily? My advice, give yourself about a week and a half to kind of get accustomed to like walking to classes and stuff, and you'll really figure out the layout of everything and start to figure out where everything is. I always recommend that before classes begin, that you go like walk the route you're gonna take to find out where all your classes are before you have to, you know, scramble to get there on the day of first day. However, we do have another way that you can now kind of explore campus, whenever campus reopens, that is. We just got these new things this last semester called the spin scooters. And boy, have they started a culture at UCF. They're actually a lot of fun. They're electric scooters. You'll find stations all around campus for them. They're bright orange, you can't miss them. But if you wanted to take the time to kind of tour campus on a spin scooter, it'll probably take you 25 to half an hour to explore literally every part of campus, from like the football stadium to the arena, student union, get you over to like all the theater buildings, Lake Claire, Greek Park Circle. I'm a fake UCF student. When my friends came down for spring break, I did take them on a spin scooter tour of the campus because it was the quickest way to get around, and it took us about like 35-40 minutes, but that's because we were also having a lot of fun on the scooter, so you know, give or take a little bit. I will also say most things are about 5 to 10 minutes away from the student union, just depending on where you're at. And the advice that I gave in my freshman year survival guide is if you just start to walk the path around, you'll eventually end up to where you're supposed to go. So there's a few tips on campus layout. Don't be too hard on yourself if you don't get it right away, because we all got lost at some point, and I sometimes still get lost because there's parts of campus that I didn't even know existed until this year, so you'll be perfectly fine. Number 2, so I get asked a lot about like study spots on campus, and there's one big one that I want to kind of talk about right now, and that is the library on campus. The John C. Hitt Library. It's that big building with the very pretty stained glass window in front of the reflection ponds. And here's just a few little insider tips that you wouldn't know unless you'd actually been to the school. First of all, it's currently under construction. The back side is, at least. The front part is still open, but they've been redoing it and creating this beautiful new layout, and it's honestly gorgeous when you see it from the student union side. All this like glass and these like yellow staircases. Very no tears left to cry, because every YouTube video I have on this channel is a Ronnie reference. And that should be opening soon-ish. I don't really know with all this corona stuff going on, but you should know that that's one thing. So there's a little bit of construction stuff going on there. 2, there are different study spaces depending on like what you're working on. So like the floor you walk in on is actually floor 2, but there's computers there, there's like desks and cubbies, there's tables to meet at. If you go downstairs, there's more tables and more meeting areas, and it's really quiet down there. And the higher you go up, it also gets quieter, and there's like study spaces and rooms available. Another cool thing about the library, it really is the 3rd floor. With those study spaces, you can actually rent them for a certain time period if you may need them to like meet and stuff. First semester, my friends and I rented one so we could figure out our ballet history midterm project. And it was a good use of the space. If you ever want to rent a room like in the library like that, you will go to the floor that you come in on, and there's like a desk, not the first desk that you walk past, but there's a second one. As you're like walking in towards where the staircase is to go upstairs. Another cool thing about the 3rd floor is you can rent equipment, like technical equipment. So like you can rent cameras, microphones, laptops, like whiteboard stuff, like whatever you may need. All you'll need is your student ID, and there are certain rules and requirements that come with like renting certain things and like how long you may have them for, and renewal periods. There's also a cafe in there that the name of it currently slips my mind, but that's okay. We're gonna get coffee and stuff in there, and it makes the library just a good space. My only thing about the library, you might want to avoid it when it comes down to finals week, because everyone and their mom is there. But that is the tea on the UCF library, and hopefully you get the chance to see yourself very soon. Okay, so this is the big $1 million question that I get all the time. So for those of you who follow me on social media, Instagram mainly, at the.t_, which I'm gonna plug my Instagram somewhere around here right about now because she has been fire lately. You guys know better than anyone that I am at Disney constantly. So the biggest question I get asked is how far away is Disney and like Universal, and how do you get there? So let me give you some tips here. When it comes to the attractions in the Orlando area, everything is about 45 minutes away, depending on traffic. Traffic can make it up to an hour, but it just kind of depends. Universal is like 10 minutes closer than Disney is, and SeaWorld is somewhere also around there, just kind of depending on what you're looking for. The Holy Land experience is the closest one out of all of them, and I've never been there, so I don't know what to tell you about that one. I'm looking about like 40-45 minute drive if traffic's good, an hour if it's bad. How do I get there? So freshman year, I made the mistake of just Ubering whenever I couldn't get a friend to like go with me who drove. And girl, let me tell you, that adds up real quick, because that like price tag on that Uber like there is like $40. Back 40, like that's an $80. If you ain't got no money, take your bro. yeah, it's a lot if you're not going with a friend. However, Monday through Friday, there is a finesse in the system, so to speak. So like I said, we have 3 campuses, one of them being Rosen, and as you heard me say earlier, it is closer to Disney and Universal. So I do know a strategy that a lot of people employ is that they will take the Rosen shuttle from main campus to Rosen, and then take an Uber from Rosen to get to the Disney and Universal area. And it's much, much cheaper. So that's a little hack if you're kind of looking for a way to get there, like, throughout the week. Weekends are a little harder because the shuttles don't run, so you're kind of really looking at the Uber or trying to find someone who drives, but this is a little hack for you. You can also take the Lynx bus system because that's free for students. I've never taken it, but I do know it takes considerably longer to get there. Some other little tidbits about the attractions of Disney and Universal. Disney has this shopping complex called Disney Springs, with shopping, food, entertainment, and it's incredible. It's actually one of my favorite places, like, to go in Orlando, period. Even if you don't have, like, tickets to the park or anything, it's free for people to go to. It's free to park there also. So if you're looking for something to do, like one, like, Friday, Saturday evening, or whatever, just sometime during the week, great place to go, especially if you go Friday or Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because they keep everything open later. Of course, that's when everything reopens. Universal also has its own equivalent called City Walk. However, if you go before, is it 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock? It costs like $25 to park, so a little more expensive. But if you go after that time, it's free, and they've got some really great stuff over there. Voodoo Donuts is over there. The Chocolate Factory, which is an incredible restaurant, is over there, and you don't need tickets to the Universal Parks to get there either. So, some little attraction hacks for you. Okay, so I kind of brought this up a little earlier, but let's get into one of UCF's famous nicknames. UCF stands for Under Construction Forever, and let's break that down real quick. UCF seems to always have a construction project going on or some sort of campus improvement thing happening. Like I said earlier, the library's been under construction for a hot minute now, so I mean, that should be reopening soon. The student union is also currently under construction because they're adding a whole new, like, eating area, like, thing from, like, where the outside was at. And then last semester, at the beginning of first semester, they were, like, finishing the food court up, and so, like, there's always some sort of big project happening, and they're currently building a lazy river over near the football stadium. So yeah, it'll seem like there's always construction happening, and that's because there's always construction happening. But UCF is just one of those campuses that kind of has that Disney mentality of, like, keep moving forward, never stop growing, and so that's kind of what they're doing, and they're just trying to improve everything for the better of everyone. They're also building a hotel now that I think about it, so there really is a lot going on there. So just be aware that there is construction stuff typically happening on campus all the time. Finally, the thing I really want to leave you with, my number one thing you should probably know, is the fact that we don't know what the future holds for us at UCF. With all this coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, I call her Miss Rona because she's just real disrespectful. We don't really know what fall semester holds for us right now. I do know that they're supposed to release in June if we're going back to school and classes in person, and even if we do, I don't really know what social distancing measures are going to be implemented. So we don't really know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen to a lot of Pegasus Palooza events, a lot of the football culture that's at UCF, because these are really big things that happen, even homecoming. We don't really know how long this whole pandemic thing is going to stick around. So there's not much I can advise on there because I really don't know myself. However, I do know this much. UCF's motto is Go Knights, Charge On, and that's what we do. We charge on regardless of what challenges come our way, and UCF has done a really great job of that. If you guys don't already follow the UCF.edu Instagram page, you really should give it a follow because they've been doing a lot of great promotional work in terms of student accountability and kind of what they're doing on campus over this pandemic and how much they really care about all the students at UCF. So there you have it, Knights. That's 5 more things that you should probably know about UCF before you get here. Now, because everyone is really asking a lot of questions right now in terms of, like, what's going on UCF related and what they want to know, leave your questions in the comments below, and I might create a Q&A video in terms of, like, what questions I get asked and what would just be easier to answer for the greater good of everyone, because I want to be there for you guys in this really trying time, and especially since I've had 2 years here now and I've kind of learned a little bit more than I had the last time that I gave you guys this advice, especially that freshman year one. Good going. So please leave your comments below. Follow me on Instagram at the.t_, and you can send me your questions there. I'll also be posting updates in terms of what the school is doing regarding COVID-19, Corona, Miss Rona, whatever you want to call her. And let me know if you want a part 3 to this, because I can think of several more things that you might want to know before you get to UCF. So with all that being said, I'll leave you with this one. There have been some pretty big things happening in the world that we UCF Knights know how to charge on. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the tea on that. Catch you guys next time.